Welcome to the layer-by-layer poetic features for Psalm 12. Our goal is to reveal the distinctive beauty and power of the original text of Psalm 12 as the next best thing to knowing Hebrew yourself. In this video, we will discuss three poetic features of Psalm 12. These three poetic features are called, first, their word versus his; second, perfect words never expire; and third, keeping people and promises. The first poetic feature is called their word against his. This psalm contains a direct speech both of the wicked and of the Lord, revealing directly what each has to say. The hearers have to decide whose word they will believe. The whole poem is arranged chiastically, 3 sections mirrored by 3 more sections. The first and 6th sections each include a second-person address of the Lord, as well as the phrase among humanity or among humans. The 2nd and 5th sections include third-person references to the Lord and descriptions of discussion of the nature of speech, whether belonging to the wicked or to the Lord. The 3rd and 4th sections, the innermost part of the poem, are a pair of actual speeches, first by the wicked and then by the Lord. This chiastic structure has 2 main effects in this psalm. It highlights the central theme of the psalm, speech, and it reinforces the contrast between the 2 types of speech in the psalm, the speech of the wicked and the speech of the Lord. The first 2 sections include descriptions of the speech of the wicked. They speak falsehood. They have flattering lips. They speak with duplicity. In contrast, the 5th section describes the Lord's words, pure, like silver refined in a furnace, purified 7 times. The wicked's words are untrustworthy, but the Lord's words are pure, without any falsehood mixed in. The outer sections of the chiasm describe the words of the wicked and the words of the Lord. In the center sections, we hear their words directly. First, the words of the wicked. We can speak boldly. Our lips are under our control. Who is our master? They claim they're their own masters, that they are not accountable to anyone. They think they are free to do whatever they want, including to afflict and oppress people as they please. They think the Lord will not stop them. Immediately after the words of the wicked come the words of the Lord. Because afflicted ones are devastated, because poor ones groan, now I will rise up. I will place in safety the one for whom others set traps. We might have expected the Lord's speech to directly answer the wicked, but it does not. Instead, he shows interest first in caring for the afflicted and the poor, those for whom the wicked were setting traps with their flattering lips. If the words of the wicked are true, that they are their own masters and are free to pursue their falsehoods without consequence, the right response is to despair. Here's the heart of the psalm. To the psalmist, the evil of the wicked seems so successful. Will he believe their claim that they will be able to continue without anyone stopping them? The psalmist follows the claim of the wicked with the promises of the Lord, who expresses compassion and promises deliverance for those who are suffering from the evil of the wicked. If the Lord's words are true, that he cares for the afflicted and poor and will intervene to protect them, the right response is hope. The effect of these 2 direct speeches is the choice the psalmist offers: to believe the boastful claims of the wicked, or to believe the Lord's compassionate promise of deliverance. This is the thematic turning point in which the psalmist shifts from the falsehoods of the wicked to dwell instead on the Lord's promises, which consume the rest of the psalm. His promises, his words, are not like those of the wicked. The Lord's words are pure and trustworthy. That means he will guard them, both his promises and his people, from the wicked. Indeed, the wicked will still be around for a long time yet. The psalmist had the choice to choose what to believe. He could believe the speech of the wicked, that there really is no accountability from the Lord for wickedness. Or he could believe the speech of the Lord, that he has compassion on his people and he will protect them. The word of the wicked versus the word of the Lord. One is full of duplicity. The other is like silver, refined in a furnace, purified 7 times over. That's the word worth believing. The next feature is the poetic peak of the psalm in verses 6 and 7. This is the third section, and many are the poetic features that highlight these verses. They help shift the emotional journey from one of distress and anger to one of hope and trust. The section begins with ambiguity over who is speaking. In verse 5, it's clearly the wicked who are speaking. In verse 6, however, it's not at first clear who's speaking because "says the Lord" does not appear until partway through the verse. The effect can be disorienting. Who will rise up? The wicked to oppress even more? Or the Lord to save? The answer comes quickly. In the third line, the Lord will place in safety those who are targeted by others to be afflicted. This third line completes the first 3-line verse, followed by the only other 3-line verse in the psalm. There's no inherent significance in the number of lines, but the pattern of the only 2 tricola in the psalm sets aside these 2 verses as distinct in some way. This is the only section in which the Lord's name appears twice. The presence or absence of the divine name is also a common way of distinguishing a section. The most vivid imagery of the psalm comes in verse 7, with the Lord's words like silver refined in a furnace on the ground, purified 7 times over. Purified 7 times is a way of saying purified perfectly. There are no impurities left. Finally, the total number of words in the section, in Hebrew, is 22. The Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters, and the alphabet is often used as a symbol of completion and order, the presence of God's rule, with the opposite being chaos and wickedness. God's words, the poetry hints, are complete, not lacking in integrity. All of these features together indicate this is the poetic peak of the psalm, the point of maximum emotional engagement. As already seen, up until this point in the psalm, the wicked are dominating and the faithful are nowhere to be seen. The Lord himself has been invoked, but has yet to make himself known. The delayed identification of the Lord in verse 6 is a poetic acknowledgement that he hasn't yet made himself known, and that has caused distress. But the emphasis on the purity of the Lord's words, with the imagery and the number of words in the section, is almost a poetic rebuke of any doubt about God fulfilling his promises. The Lord's words are perfectly pure, complete and orderly, and entirely trustworthy. His promises do not expire, such that one might need to doubt he will fulfill them. They remain perfectly trustworthy, which means there is no cause to fear he will abandon the afflicted now. He will guard them, because he is trustworthy. His perfect words, his promises, never expire. We'll finish with keeping people and promises. In verse 8 of Psalm 12, there's an ambiguous word. The text reads, "You, Lord, will guard them," but it is not clear to what or to whom the "them" refers. So we need to look at what comes before this verse. In verse 6, there were afflicted and poor ones whom the Lord promises to place in safety. In verse 7, the Lord's words are praised as pure and refined. The Hebrew word "them" could refer either to the people or to the Lord's words, And the Hebrew verb translated guard can refer both to keeping people safe and to keeping promises. Is the Lord going to guard the afflicted ones, protecting them from their oppressors, or is he going to guard his words, ensuring that all his promises are fulfilled? You may have anticipated the answer. From God's perspective, they're one and the same thing. This psalm starts with lamenting the falsehood and duplicity that are rampant in David's circles, and which climax in people claiming complete autonomy and freedom from accountability. In context, they're claiming freedom to oppress whom they will, when they will. Verse 2 reveals how successful they have become. There are no more people loyal or faithful to God. The thought might arise in the hearer's mind, is anybody delivering the afflicted? If not, doesn't that mean God's promises are not being fulfilled? The two are closely connected, and the whole prompt for the psalm is that the wicked have been multiplying. There's a tension between the obvious ongoing presence of oppression and yet God's promise to deliver the oppressed. How can both be true? The ambiguous pronoun them on you, Lord, will guard them deftly refuses to accept the possibility that only one might be true. God keeps both his promises and his people. The presence of oppression and affliction does not endanger God's promises. Indeed, the recognition of the omnipresence of oppression and affliction is the very reason that God's promises were given. And God will deliver the afflicted in his time, and thereby keep his promises. He will keep them, both. This has been the Poetic Features video for Psalm 12, in which we explore the natively Hebrew poetic nature of the psalm. Our overview video provides a coherent interpretation of the psalm, and our exegetical issues video discusses other scholarly views. All of these videos are offered free of charge, thanks to the generosity of our donors. Please visit us at cdbr.org to learn more.